Hello and welcome to The Word, bringing you the good news of Jesus Christ every day from the Order of Preachers around the world. Today is Thursday of the 33rd week in Ordinary Time, and from the United States we hear from Sister Marianne Watts, a Dominican Sister of Hope living in Asbury Park, New Jersey. Her preaching today is entitled Winners, Enemies, and Neighbors, and the reading is from 1 Maccabees.
The officers of the king in charge of enforcing the apostasy came to the city of Modin to make them sacrifice. Many of Israel joined them, but Mattathias and his sons drew together. Then the officers of the king addressed Mattathias. "You are a leader, an honorable and great man in this city, supported by sons and kindred. Come now, be the first to obey the king's command, as all the Gentiles and Judeans and those who are left in Jerusalem have done. Then you and your sons shall be honored with silver and gold and many gifts." But Mattathias answered in a loud voice, quote, "Although all the Gentiles in the king's realm obey him, so that they forsake the religion of their ancestors, yet I and my kindred will keep to the covenant of our ancestors. Heaven forbid that we should forsake the law and the commandments. We will not obey the words of the king by departing from our religion in the slightest degree." Close quote. As he finished saying those words, a certain Jew came forward to offer sacrifice according to the king's order. When Mattathias saw him, his heart was moved and his just fury was aroused. He sprang forward and killed him upon the altar. He also killed the messenger of the king who was forcing them to sacrifice, and he tore down the altar. Then Mattathias cried out to the city, "Let everyone who is zealous for the law and who stands by the covenant follow me." Then he and his sons fled to the mountains, and many who sought righteousness and justice went out into the wilderness to settle there. This account from 1 Maccabees introduces us to Mattathias, a person who, in defying the enemy king by supporting the religion of his ancestors, chooses to be what might be called a winner. Listen to his bold words, quote, "Although all the Gentiles in the king's realm obey him, so that they forsake the religion of their ancestors and consent to the king's orders, yet I and my sons and my kindred will keep to the covenant of our ancestors." Close quote. But he goes further, this honorable and great man who is filled with zeal. When he became aware that a fellow Jew was offering sacrifice on the altar of the king, Mattathias gave in to his just fury and killed this Jew, as well as the king's messenger, and tore down the altar. He and his family then fled to the mountains. Winners indeed. I speak of those who followed the way of violence, as we know from history of 1 Maccabees. But are we at ease with the actions of Mattathias? Compare him to Jesus, as Luke describes Jesus in today's gospel. Quote, "As Jesus drew near Jerusalem, he saw the city and wept over it, saying, 'If this day you only knew what makes for peace, for the days are coming upon you when your enemies will hem you in on all sides. They will smash you to the ground and your children within you, because you did not recognize the time of your visitation." Close quote. Mattathias chose to kill his enemies to assure victory. Jesus wept and suffered, and, as we know, later gave himself as sacrificial gift to ransom Jerusalem and Israel and satisfy humanity's debt to the Father. Who is the winner? In our own day, we see a great deal of violence in the Middle East, much of it arising from Israel. We see those who become so-called winners by growing proficient at destroying their enemies. But how many follow the words of Christ, quote, "If this day you only knew what makes for peace," close quote. Some time ago, former Pope Francis urged us, as people of the Synod, to listen. Pope Leo shows every sign of following this counsel, which is not only spiritually valuable, but also politically and governmentally sensible. Isn't deep listening the ground of respectful negotiation between those who choose to be neighbors rather than enemies? If peace is ever to be won in the Middle East, today's scriptural readings point to the answer. Are we listening?